It's Beer O'Clock, and this is the Beer O'Clock Show. Thanks for joining us for our weekly review of a random bottle of something beery. My name is Mark, your friendly beer noob, and joining me from somewhere north of the Essex estuary, surrounded by oak-aged women, is my beer mentor, Steve. Hello, Steve.
Good evening, Mark. How are you this week?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Jolly good. We were hoping to have number one fan Anthony along tonight, but unfortunately he couldn't be with us. So hopefully we'll have him along soon enough. But we have an interesting beer tonight. It's one that most people will know, but it's one that we haven't had before, which is always good. But before we get to that beer, Steve, you've got a little bit of an announcement to make, or a little bit of promo to make.
Yes, yeah. I'm not sure. I say I'm not sure. I imagine most of our listeners would have seen the hard sell that's been going on from our Twitter account this week. We're really pleased to announce our first Beer O'Clock Show live event, which will be taking place on Saturday, the 14th of September. We've teamed up with Vic Norman from Dragon and Flagon Tours, and Vic is going to take us on one of his tours around a few pubs in London, and we're going to be doing it with Beer O'Clock Show listeners. So as well as sampling the historical delights that the pubs will have to offer, we'll also be talking with people about the various beers, what they're tasting, probably try and get a few little sound bites so that we can use them on the show, but generally just a nice little walking tour of London to appreciate a few fine pubs and some decent beers to boot.
Yeah, I've only been on one of Vic's tours, which is the one we did last year. I think you've been on another one since then. They're good tours, aren't they?
They are good tours, and as I say, they're a nice mix of you get to find out some really interesting historical facts about some parts of London. The particular tour that we're doing with Vic is the Strand and Goblet tour, which I've done before, but it's actually a really, really good tour. In terms of the places that we'll be visiting, and like I say, there's a lot of little historical facts in there, but also some really decent boozers as well. So we should get in a decent selection of real beers as well. So we've got about 20 places on the tour. About half of them have already gone. Since we started promoing it, you can book it through. We're using a website called Eventbrite, which is www.eventbrite, which is brite.co.uk / and I think it's Beer O'Clock Show Live. But we'll check that link and we'll put it on the Facebook page, and it will continue to appear on Twitter on almost an hourly basis. Probably until all of the places have gone. But Vic's also done us a bit of a deal so that Beer O'Clock Show listeners are getting the tour for £9 a head rather than the normal £10 a head that he would charge. But it's booking through us only to access that discount.
Yeah. Should be good, and everyone can have a bit of a giggle at me getting drunk on a half a pint.
Yes, of course.
What my mates normally do when we get together.
At least you've got the walk between pubs to sober up a little bit.
As long as it's a one wall that I can keep my hand on, just as we go along. Any other beery news?
No, nothing that I picked up on this week. There was someone tweeted us today actually to say that there was a new book out that we might be interested in, which is all about bottled beers. So let's give that a shout while we're on. Guy called David McGeever at Denton Raider on Twitter got in touch today to let us know that Camera have today released a good bottled beer guide, now available from the Camera website for $12.99 or $10.99 if you're a Camera member.
Cool. Well, considering we drink mostly bottled beer, that's quite interesting. Yeah,
that might be quite interesting actually. Might be worth a little purchase of that to have a look and see what's in there.
Okay, and what have you been drinking the last week? Because I will hang my head in shame that all I've drunk over the weekend was Beck's.
Sometimes it happens to the best of us.
I was weak. I had a moment of weakness, Stephen, and I slipped.
What have I done since last week? I've got a moment of weakness in here as well this week, which I think actually, when compared to it, would much rather have done the Becks. I sampled. I gladly received our order of Trooper beer last week, and I managed to hold out about all of 2 hours before I cracked open a bottle and tried it. I was going to wait until we reviewed it on the show, but I got straight into that. And I'm not gonna say what I thought of it now, because we're going to review that in a couple of weeks. I'm gonna hold back on that. But so I did the Trooper beer, the Iron Maiden beer from Robinson's. There was a can of Ghost Ship in there, a Stokey Brown from Pressure Drop Brewery, which is one of these. A couple of months back, I got a box of beer from, I think it was Owls by Mao. That was a London selection, so it was something like 15 bottles of beer from small London microbreweries, and one of them was from this Pressure Drop, and so I'm steadily working my way through them. So did the Stokey Brown. Wasn't overly impressed with it. It was just a standard brown ale, but with a little bit more hop than your normal brown ales. And then my moment of weakness, I did an old speckled hen at the weekend, and regardless of on Untapped, it's now calling itself Moreland Old Speckled Hen, but who's the brewery? Who's the brewery?
I saw that tweet, and you were going on about how nice it was.
You know what though? It actually was. It was almost better than out of the bottle off tap. And considering that I was in I was in a hotel at the time, it was only $3.80 for the pint as well, which was really reasonable for hotel prices. But hey ho.
Personally, I think your good mood over the weekend coloured your judgment somewhat.
I think so as well. Yeah. And then yesterday and today have been a bit of an Adnams fest, really. I had a Soulstar yesterday, and then today happened to find myself in Holborn Whippet, and they were selling innovation on keg.
Wow.
So I had a pint of that, and it was absolutely stunning. Really, really stunning. I've had it from the bottle before, and it's a great beer. But off the keg, it was smooth and fruity and hoppy and refreshing, and everything that you could want from a beer. So yeah, quite a packed week actually of beers for me there.
Oh, it kind of puts my 6-pack of Becks to shame.
Just a little bit. You should have to redeem yourself next week.
I think I'll redeem myself with the beer we've got tonight.
Yeah, I think so.
Which also might put me on my arse a little bit. I'm tired enough as it is. Fortunately, it's only a little bottle. So let's get to it. The featured beer this week is from a brewery we've done not long ago. It's a European beer again. You'll remember that a couple of weeks ago we did Duvel with our guest reviewer, whose name I can't remember. Nate. Sorry, Nate. Didn't mean to forget your name. I'm very tired. But this isn't Duvel.
Are you tired? I don't think you've mentioned it much.
Shut up. It's another Leffe. We've done the Leffe Blonde before some time ago, which was one of the first few beers we did this season, wasn't it? Yeah.
We got straight into Europe at the beginning of the season, didn't we?
And this is its darker brother. It's the Leffe Brune. I'm sorry, when I said that I was thinking of Nuki Brune.
Yes.
But no, it's Leffe Brune. Puissant el Savories, Krachtigt und voll van Schmack, as it says on the front, which I believe is Dutch or Belgian for brown beer.
Well, I imagine it would be Belgian, seeing as on the back it clearly states it's a product of Belgium.
Yeah.
But yeah, no idea what that says. If anybody knows what that translation is, let us know, please, so we don't lose too many nights' sleep. I'm
expecting this to be a dark malty beer with a hint of that European yeast.
Yes.
That Nate kindly educated us on a couple of weeks ago. Now you've not had
got the
this
right
one before.
glass this week.
I've got the right glass as well.
Yeah. I've not had this one before. No. I can confess to having had the Leffe Blonde many years ago.
Yeah.
But this one No, this is a first for me.
I may have had a sip of this years ago when I decided I wanted to get into beers and failed miserably, and this may have been the beer that did it. So, which turned me off. So we'll see. We'll give it a pour and see how it goes.
Well, yep, it's brown.
It's fizzy.
It is quite carbonated. It's kind of the carbonation sticking to the outside of the glass.
Mm. Oh yeah, you got that that European smell.
It smells like the other two European beers we've done this year.
I'm not limited in my palate. What are you suggesting?
I'm not suggesting anything. Not suggesting it tastes like caramelized charcoal either.
I can't get much of a smell of it other than that European yeasty smell.
Yeah, that's all that's coming through. It's very sweet, almost a sickly sweet to that.
Mm. Okay, well, let's not pause much longer and let's dive in.
Yep, cheers.
Cheers, mate.
That's surprising. It doesn't overly have that European yeasty malty taste to it.
No, it doesn't.
That's more like that's just like a really creamy brown ale.
Yeah.
Very sweet on the palate.
I'm finding it's got like a boozy woodenness to it, I think.
Ever so slightly bitter aftertaste.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of something. I can't quite put my finger on what it reminds me of. It's quite gassy. I don't know if that's the beer or me, actually. It's a little bit reminiscent of, and this is, I imagine people are going to absolutely cringe at this next statement, but a few years back, and I think it's just come back round again, Coca-Cola released a vanilla Coke.
Yep.
It's a little bit like that. It's a little bit like vanilla Coke. It's sweet. It's got, you're not really picking up any bitterness to it, but then there's kind of some hidden unknown flavours in there that I can't quite pick up.
It tastes brown.
It tastes brown.
I don't know.
Go
how
on,
follow
that up with your catch line. It tastes like beer.
Well, it does taste like beer.
So I suppose that's better than me coming out with it tastes like vanilla Coke.
Let me see if I can qualify my statement somewhat other than it tastes brown.
Yeah, go on. You do that.
I don't really know. There's like a... how can I put this? Like a bitter Bourneville biscuit to it, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
With a touch of booziness. So imagine that you lightly dabbed some whiskey on a Bourneville biscuit. And yeah, that's all I can say about that, really.
Okay.
It's not unpleasant. It's quite bloody gassy, though.
It's very gassy. How are you serving yours?
It's been out of the fridge maybe 20 minutes.
Okay. Now I've done mine straight from the fridge because the back of it kind of suggested doing it at 5 degrees. So but it's only been in the fridge for a couple of hours.
Mine's been in the fridge for weeks.
But I'd just like to say that I was right, and my palate does work. Because I'm now looking at the Leffe website.
Yep.
And Leffe Brune is an authentic Abbey beer brewed according to the traditional recipe of the Abbey of Leffe. Leffe Brune has a delicate taste of vanilla and clove, and the full aroma of toffee and caramel. So there you go. My statement that it tasted like vanilla Coke was bang on, because I was picking up the vanilla.
And we all know that clove is an integral ingredient of Coca-Cola.
Well, for all you know, it might be that hidden ingredient that they won't reveal to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
There. I am an expert, see? I picked up the vanilla.
Yeah, I can see where you're going with the vanilla. I'm getting hints of it as well.
And then I think it's... Now I know what it is. I think it's the clove that's then bringing that bitterness. So you get the instant hit through the aroma and through the flavour of the vanilla, and then you're getting the bitterness that comes with the clove.
Mm-hmm.
So there you have it. You heard it here first. Leffe Brune, vanilla Coke. Who'd know?
Through. Who could tell them apart?
Yes.
And they say they brought vanilla Coke back. It's always been there. It's been called Leffe Brune.
Exactly. Yeah, they just turned it alcoholic for a couple of years.
Just that you need authorization at the Sainsbury self-checkout to get Leffe Brune, not with vanilla Coke.
That's the only thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I hate that woman at the self-checkout.
Really?
Yeah, the robot woman.
What, the one that has to come over to push a button?
The one inside the machine.
Oh.
Put in your card details now. I am.
Yeah.
Shut up. Shut your whole mouth.
Please put your stuff in the bagging area. It is. The amount of times I've stood, and particularly out of all of the supermarkets as well, I find that the Morrison self-checkouts are the worst.
Really?
Because for some reason they seem to, their sole purpose in life seems to be to wind up the customer.
I remember when they first
got onto this.
I know. I remember when they. I'm going to carry on with this tangent because I've just been reminded of a story.
Let's go for it. Yeah.
I remember when they first came out in Marks and Spencer's on Oxford Street, and the wife and I went down there. Thought we'd try them out because we're quite into our tech. When they see what it's like, this is like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
The most frustrating experience of my retail life. Trying to get that bloody thing to work, and I think we only wanted to buy one or two things, and I think we ended up leaving it, not even bothering buying it at the normal checkout. Anyway, I don't have a good history of self-checkouts, but it's all I use because I don't like talking to people.
No, I can testify to that.
What do you mean? How dare you?
Had it not been for your wife, you wouldn't have spoken to me.
Well, when you got some random nutter come up and compliment on your t-shirt, you don't stick around. It's just that she likes random nutters. And that's how you came into our life, Stephen.
Exactly, there you have it.
Oh,
there you have it.
Tangents. What do you think? Let's sum up this Leffe Brune in what's going to be a very short show, but...
Vanilla Coke.
Vanilla Coke?
Yeah.
Nothing else to it except vanilla Coke.
Like I say, it's sweet aromas. You're picking up the yeast and the malt straight away. Very sweet initial hit, giving way to a slightly bitter aftertaste, and almost like a lingering something.
Yeah.
Can't quite detect it, but there's something that's going to be on the tongue for a few hours yet.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's a boozy Bourneville biscuit, is what I'm finding from the Leffe Brune. Not unpleasant. I mean, this is quite drinkable.
It's very drinkable. To be fair, I would say if I had to choose between this and the blonde, I would probably choose this.
I would probably go for the blonde. Mainly because I like... Neither of them are beers that I would quaff all night.
No, same here.
But I found... I've obviously got more of a sweet palate than you. Or I appreciate sweet drinks more than you do. Which is why I like things like the Golden Glory and things like that. And you like... you want more hoppier beers. So that's maybe why I would go for the blonde more over this. But, at 6.5% ABV, it's not something I would be downing by the glass anyway. But it's certainly drinkable. I just gesticulated with my glass and almost tipped it all over my keyboard. As long-time listeners will know, even at a small bottle, I am getting towards the end.
Yeah, it's not like you say. It's not an offensive beer. It's an easy beer. You could drink it. Whether you could drink too many of them and what sort of state you'd be in the morning, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's certainly a very very quaffable beer.
Mm-hmm. It's very heavy towards the end as well, I'm finding. Okay, mate, so how would you rate this out of 5 bottle caps?
I'd probably give it 3. I don't think I'd go much higher than that on it. It's a nice beer. It's an easy drinker. If you're looking for something sweet, you could do that quite easily. Trying to think what you might want to do that with. You might just want to do it on its own. Might want to do it with, I don't know, maybe something barbecue-y. Not, and by that I mean like with a barbecue sauce or barbecue flavour to it. I think that would work quite well. I think the flavours would complement one another.
Or you could have it after a late dinner. You know, you're watching TV, have some of this and then a coffee afterwards or something.
Yeah,
I think it could work as a slightly, not quite dessert beer, but, you know, end of the evening type beer as well.
Yeah.
With a nice big piece of chocolate cake.
I'm not sure how widely available it is. I know in most supermarkets you can certainly get the blonde.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen this on the supermarket shelf.
Yeah, we got ours in a gift pack, didn't we?
Yeah.
You can definitely get it in places like John Lewis Food Hall and stuff like that. And I think Whole Foods has that as well, I'm not too sure. But yeah, like you said, the blonde is more readily available, and you can get the blonde in the big bottles. I don't see the
I
Brune.
walked past Whole Foods today. I was gutted that I didn't have time to go in there and sample the range of beers that you keep talking about.
Was that the one at Piccadilly?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great in there. You'd love it.
Yeah. It was lunchtime and it just looked like it was heaving. And I was just I can't be doing with that right now.
Next time, mate. Next time.
Yes. There's always a next time.
Yeah. Okay. So let's wrap this up. You can find us on Twitter at Beer O'Clock Show. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Beer O'Clock Show. And the website is beeroclockshow.co.uk. You can find us also on iTunes. Do a little search on iTunes for Beer O'Clock Show and you can find us on there. Give us a review. It really helps. And if you're listening to this via the Stitcher Radio app, give us a thumbs up because that really helps with our rating and we appreciate your support. Stephen, we have Anthony coming at the end of the show with another one of his famous number one fan reviews. And we hope to have him on the show next week.
Yes, hopefully number one fan will be here with us live on the show, and I'm anticipating him being very, very excited about it.
I plan on just introducing him and letting him go for 40 minutes and wrapping up at the end.
That sounds like a plan. I do. I'm almost hesitant to say this, but I'm going to say it. I do at one point anticipate the phrase, "This is the greatest day of my life."
Isn't he married?
Not yet.
Oh, not yet. Okay.
Yeah,
we can beat that to the punch.
We can, yes. In years to come, he'll do one of those things where top 5 greatest days of my life, and it'll be like marriage, Beer O'Clock Show, children.
Second Beer O'Clock Show.
Yeah. Yes, he's very excited about it. So yeah, it should be fun to have him on next week, joining us for the banter and for the live review.
Indeed. Right, until then, mate, I hope you have a good week.
Yeah, you too.
And I'll chat to you next week.
Yeah, chat to you soon.
Cheerio.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, number one fan out of Star 79, reporting for the Beer O'Clock Show in my local, the Sussex Cricketer in Hove. Well, what can I say about today? Just had a couple of pints before I came here. Had a couple of Seafarers by Fuller's. Very nice. Very, very nice. Hopalicious, shall we say. A nice, steady session beer. However, the beer I'm reporting on tonight is a Optimus Prime. named after the film. And what can I say about this? Does it change in character? No. It stays as it is. But it is hop-tastic. It is from the hop draw. It's citrusy, lovely, and delicious. From Robinson's Brewery, about 4.1 or 4.2%. A nice session ale. Lovely. Recommend it. A seasonal beer for 2013. If you get the chance to have it, taste it. You never know, you could be Optimus Prime. This is number one fan reporting at the Sussex Cricketer in Hove. Over and out.